of the day, this is Miss Tabassum. Today we are going to revise Gulzar's partition. So let's get started. Now let's have a look at the characters in Gulzar's partition. Gulzar is the author of Partition. His real name is Sampuran. Harbhajan Singh is the father of Iqbal Singh and he considers him to be the father of Gulzar. Mrs. Harbhajan Singh is the wife of Mr. Harbhajan Singh. Iqbal Singh is a professor and son of Mr. and Mrs. Harbhajan Singh. Dilshad is the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Harbhajan Singh who got separated during the terrible riots of partition in 1947. Afzal Chacha is the zamindar who gave shelter to Mr. and Mrs. Harbhajan Singh during the terrible riots in 1947. Ayaz is the son of Afzal Chacha. Here is the summary of Gulzar's partition. In the year 1984-85, a gentleman named Iqbal Singh used to write to Gulzar saying that he was his brother who had been lost during the partition. Gulzar refused him, but he wasn't convinced. Then again, after some time, Gulzar was told that a person named Harbhajan Singh wanted to meet him. He thought that Gulzar was his lost son. Finally, Gulzar went to Delhi and met Harbhajan Singh, his elder son Iqbal and other family members. Harbhajan Singh narrated him the story. There were terrible riots. Fires raged all around. The zamindar, Mr. Afzal, was a good friend of Harbhajan Singh's father. He met them every day and boosted their courage. He also said that no one could harm them till he was there with them. When the caravans of the people who were leaving their places passed through their kasbah, they felt scared. Once they felt like that the next day would be a disaster for them. So they left the kasbah without informing the zamindar about their departure. Harbhajan Singh left with his wife, 2 elder sons and a daughter, considering Gulzar to be his youngest son. Unfortunately, at the night when they left from Miawali, they got separated from their youngest son and daughter. They tried to find them back but couldn't. After a period of 20 years, they went back to their homeland, Pakistan. Before leaving, Harbhajan Singh wrote a letter to the zamindar Afzal Chacha and his son Ayaz. He apologized for not trusting them and told him about their lost children Satya and Sampuran. Gulzar got its reply after 8 years and came to know that the zamindar and his son had passed away. Harbhajan Singh told Gulzar about a lady who introduced herself as Satya, but she did not seem to be much affected. Harbhajan Singh's wife addressed Gulzar by the name Punni, which was Sampuran's nickname. Gulzar was told that Harbhajan Singh heard about him that his real name was Sampuran and he was born in Pakistan. It made them take him as their lost son. Gulzar again denied to be their son, but gave him his address. After a few years, when Gulzar was informed of Harbhajan Singh's death, he felt that he had lost his own father. Reference to context. Number 1. Our children were lost. We gave up hope. Who is the speaker? Answer. Harbhajan Singh is the speaker. Name the lost children. Answer. Sampuran and Dilshad were the lost children. Second, was she surprised to see you? Who said these lines and to whom? Answer. Gulzar said to Harbhajan Singh. Who is she referred to? Answer. She is referred to Dilshad. Now, here we have some in-text questions. Question number 1. Who is the author of the book titled Footprints on Zero Line? Answer. Gulzar is the author of the book titled Footprints on Zero Line. Second, who was Iqbal Singh? Answer. Iqbal Singh was a professor and the son of Harbhajan Singh. Third, why did Gulzar stop responding to Iqbal Singh's letters? Answer. Gulzar stopped responding to Iqbal Singh's letters because he had not lost any siblings during the communal riots of those days. Fourth, which family members was Gulzar introduced to by Harbhajan Singh? Answer. Gulzar was introduced to Mrs. Harbhajan Singh, the wife of Mr. Harbhajan Singh, and their son Iqbal. Question number 5. Who gave shelter to Harbhajan's family during the riots? Answer. The Zamindar, Mr. Afzal, gave shelter to Harbhajan's family during the riots. Next, what was the nickname of Sampuran? Answer. Punni was the nickname of Sampuran. Number 7. Who was Dilshad? What did she tell Harbhajan Singh? Answer. Dilshad was the lost daughter of Harbhajan Singh and told Harbhajan Singh that she was taken care of by the owners of the house where she had hidden and she had 2 sons. 8. Why did Harbhajan and his wife think that Gulzar was their son? Answer. Harbhajan Singh and his wife thought that Gulzar was their son because Iqbal read in some magazine that the real name of Gulzar is Sampuran and that he was born in Pakistan. That's all for the day. I hope you well understood the lesson. Go through the text very carefully. Read all the question answers. If you have any queries, feel free to call me. Thank you. Have a great day ahead.